We are Two Guys Playing Zelda, and you can follow us on Twitter at Two Guys Play Zelda or email us at twoguysPlayingZelda@gmail.com.
Welcome to our video walkthrough for the Snowhead Temple. It's the second dungeon in Majora's Mask, and I gotta level with you. I've never been a fan of ice and snow-based dungeons in Zelda games.
Well, it all started off with Ice Palace in Links to the Past, which is just horrible. And the what's it called, the Ice Cavern in Ocarina of Time is it was a mini dungeon. It wasn't that hard, but just I don't know if it's the theme of that place or what it was. It creeped me out, really, to be honest with you, and just. Yeah, I've never been a fan of them either, but...
I will say this dungeon is an improvement over those two, though.
Yes, very much. Very much it is. It's like the whole fact of being kind of like inside of a mountain, which...
Yeah.
I mean, this is not Death Mountain, but...
Of course.
You kind of look at it that way in this game, I guess, so...
It's kind of a nice change of pace, though, to be inside a mountain and it not be fire. You know?
Yes, that's a very good point. I never thought about that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just...
Even though there's lava right there.
Well, yeah. I will say I kind of liked how also, like, when you fall down there into, like, the depths of the cave or whatever, you do get that lava. The rest of the place is still ice.
Yeah, so it's just at the bottom, yeah.
Yeah, and we do have to deal with it a little bit.
Now, how those ice enemies are at the top right there with lava burning in this room is beyond me.
Yeah, I'd probably be sweating profusely.
There's no... Yes. Those things gotta be melted.
Tell you what, though, Gorons are pretty tough. They can survive the ice and the fire, though. I mean,
but man, are they slow.
Yes, they are. But you get the roll. I mean, that kind of makes up for it.
And that's one of the things I really like about this dungeon is kind of like, I know I brought this up in Goron Village, is like the ability to ramp.
Yes.
Things, which we never had that up until this point. So just kind of like, the whole Goron roll and the ramping just really added to this temple.
And I'm not sure if we get any ramping in any later Zelda games either.
No, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know if we do or not.
Maybe a little jumping with Epona. But...
Now, it did become kind of a pain when you would fall off the main room and go all the way down to the bottom and have to go all the way back up.
Yeah, you got to make sure you're rolling straight.
Yeah, and something very important right there is you want to wait till that first one stops breathing.
Yes.
Or you'll get frozen.
Yeah, even in your full roll. Yeah, they'll freeze you. That's never fun either.
No, it's not.
I see you get frozen a few times later on.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid every time. I love this image right here for some reason. Like, you just hit this shield, and it just kind of bounces up and blows up.
It looks like some insane little rat running around at the bottom.
Well, that's probably why I like it too, a rat blowing up. But
exactly. Yeah, I saw that enemy, and I'm like, that's unusual.
I just kind of like how it bounces off your shield and it flips over.
Yeah, basically.
For once, I don't feel like the idiot in a Zelda game.
that enemy even has that big old eyes and grin looking
he's
face.
Ugly.
He looks like an idiot.
He needs to have a bomb on his tail to blow him up easily.
Exactly. He definitely failed the evolutionary process.
Yes, he did. Terma's a cruel mistress.
Yes, it is. I will say another thing I kind of liked about this dungeon is how there were more, I feel like, wide open rooms, bigger rooms. You think a lot of dungeons are tunnels and smaller rooms.
Yeah.
I feel like this one had a lot more of these, like the one we just walked into here. Yeah. Much larger rooms.
And this is one of my favorite rooms, really, in any Zelda game, really, because there's just so much. I mean, we've had tall rooms, but that one just felt like it was just a little bit more, I guess.
Probably about 5 levels? 4 or 5 levels?
Yeah, I think it's 4 or 5. Well, count the basement, I think it is 5, maybe.
Oof.
Which is a pretty, for levels-wise, I mean, that's not the most, I think, but that's pretty close.
It's probably the most at the time, honestly.
Yeah.
And once you get into, Twilight Princess and things like that, they have a few.
Well, the Ice Palace had 7, remember?
Yeah.
And they were all in the basement.
Yeah. God, I'm trying not to think about the Ice Palace.
Wish there was some lava in there. Warm us up a little bit or something.
I know.
And that's kind of a shortcut right there, because if we don't do that right now, we'll have to come back and do that later on. You have to kind of go back up and around. It's just a pain.
So might as well get it out of the way now.
Yeah, might as well get out of the way now. And that's a fairy up there that we'll get later.
Yep. Can't forget about those. That's for sure. We know what happens when you forget about one of them.
And I think, and it's important to get all the fairies in this dungeon because that gives you the magic meter upgrade.
Yes.
Right after, which is huge in this game. It's huge in any game.
It is. Honestly, though, in this dungeon, between when you get the item of this dungeon, you end up using a lot of magic, I feel like.
That is true, yeah, with the, spoiler alert, fire arrow.
Yeah, spoiler tags. But yeah, the fire arrow goes through magic. Thankfully, a lot of these enemies in these pots have plenty of refills. But it's never a bad idea maybe to think about having is there the magic potion in this game?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, it may not be a bad idea to take.
But there's plenty of magic throughout this dungeon.
There really
you get the big jar and almost every pot that you hit. Well, not everyone, but
yeah. So unless you just really stink with the bow and can't hit anything, it just wasted.
Well, don't get ahead of ourselves here, okay?
Oh, I know you got a moment coming up in one of these parts.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot you have perfect run-throughs.
One of these days I will.
I've been saying that in every video we've done. And that's actually kind of our first little look at that throw, though. Oh, that was a good throw. Blew myself up, but it was a good throw.
It worked.
And that's kind of our first episode of Ice right there, I guess you could say.
Yep. And like right outside this door, of course, we had to shoot the arrow through the torch to melt the ice. I've always been a fan of that. Shooting through the torches to basically create fire arrows before you get them. I've always been a fan of doing that, especially when you get some of the more complicated puzzles and you're twisting and moving around a little bit. It makes it tough.
And in this game, you kind of have to shoot the arrows above the torch, which is kind of a little bit different from past games, just a little bit higher. And right here, what you want to do is you want to shoot the center one and the right one. The left one is basically, well, you don't want to shoot that one right there. You want to shoot the one above it, but...
Make sure you hit it, though.
I think I did hit that second time. It was just still wiggling a little bit.
It hadn't recovered from the first
shot. Yeah. It was still stunned.
Yeah, and that's a nice little throwback, though, to the when you first came up to Snowhead Mountain and like the mountain village and Goron village. You had to shoot the hanging ice down to
get into the entrance.
Yeah. So.
And coming up right here, I'm not sure why I don't use my lens earlier. Like, I guess I thought I could just open up the treasure chest without looking.
Yeah.
I just finally gave up.
You kept waiting for open to appear.
I thought it was in the front, and that's why I did it, but it's in the back. Why is the opening in the back?
Who knows?
Who put that treasure chest there?
The same person who built an invisible wall in front of it?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I like the fact that you had to go back and use your lens of truth a few times.
I'm going to put an invisible wall here and then make the treasure chest backwards.
I'm going to screw with that one guy, I tell you what.
Stupid Goron.
Oh my gosh. But some of these things, like, you wouldn't even think to, like, use the lens of truth to look there and see something like that.
Well, it kind of has that white drape. Yeah.
But if it wasn't for that, yeah,
it kind of gives it away. Maybe I would never reckon. First time playing, I would not know that. So
yeah, and you need those fairies, though, like we mentioned, to get that upgrade later on.
And there's going to be a lot in this walkthrough of me trying to switch the mask, and you can't because I have another mask on. So
see, I always thought that was kind of annoying that you can't even equip another mask into your C buttons there without taking off your other.
There's a bunch of little what's it called, quips or whatever.
Yeah.
In this game that kind of
are
little
things.
Yeah, a little frustrating. How would you know that fairy's there? Well, actually, if you put on that fairy mask, the hair sparkles. If there's a fairy close by, so I guess that's one way you.
If you're going to run around the whole dungeon wearing the fairy mask.
Yeah, you got to shoot the bubble.
Yeah.
To even get the fairy to come down to you.
Yep. Well, it's just like the couple of fairies right there at the beginning of the dungeon, too, though, when you had to drop all the way down. It's like, how would you have known those were down?
True.
So
we would have screwed up and fell off, probably.
Yeah, that's honestly true.
And I love this little puzzle right here. Like, it was not that hard when I watched the walkthrough. That's why it wasn't that hard. But the first time I did this part right here, I mean, I remember getting really confused because if you hit the wrong one, it just kind of... It doesn't really reset it, if I remember correctly. It kind of... I don't know. It just does all kind of different
things. I get what you're saying. It's neat, like, to where you have to get them both in the right position and everything.
There's just a bunch of different combinations for each one you hit and which order you hit them in. So, kind of a neat little puzzle right there. That can be a little difficult, but...
And it is timed. You hear the timer going in the background, so you got to make sure you're fairly quick about it.
That's why you're only killing those enemies right there.
Yeah.
I love how this is ice right here, because this is what gets the Goron rolling and not really moving, as you can see.
Just like trying to burn donuts in your parking lot.
Watch this smooth move right here.
That's so unavoidable, though. I mean,
it really is.
I mean, even if you know it's there, you got to make sure you clear the jump and then stop before you hit that. That's an understandable freeze.
Technically, he should crack that a little bit.
You would think.
He's got spikes. He's going, I don't know how fast.
Plus, later on, we see the power of those fists he's got, too. I mean, you'd think he could break that ice pretty easily.
or at least crack it. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then here we have a mini boss coming up. This is the Wizrobes, which come back from
many
Zelda games. So
we fight him twice actually in this dungeon,
but they're not as bad as the original Zelda ones.
No. God, Wizrobes has been a pain for a long time.
And a trick right here is I don't know if it's on this first part, but I think wherever they're red. No, on the second part is where it happens. So I'll mention that when we get to that.
We will deal with this guy again later on.
Well, if you know, I mean, it's like there's two parts to this battle. You hit him twice.
Oh.
And he starts warping.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, kind of like. But right here, if you get too close, he'll go to a different one.
Yeah.
Whereas, like right here, you'll see he goes to one main one.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
have to
right
like, yeah.
Now, right here, he'll show up on the map where he's going to be at.
Which is a nice little trick, actually. I don't think I noticed that, honestly.
If you can get your direction straight, yeah.
Yeah. Make sure you know which way your little yellow arrow that's you is facing. Yeah, I never noticed that. That is a neat trick.
But it only happens for, I wasn't sure if it happened for the first part, but it doesn't seem like it does.
Yeah. Nice job there, though. You struggled a little bit the second time.
Yeah, well, I had 2 tries at it.
Yeah.
I had 2 videos to pick from.
Nice. I'm not saying I'd have done any better. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I remember watching you do it, and I'm like, God, that does look like a tough fight.
Yeah.
But it is kind of nice. We get the treasure of this dungeon fairly early
Pretty quickly,
on.
yeah, before the compass. No, we haven't gotten the compass.
We didn't get the compass, yeah. But we're still in the first of our 3 parts of our walkthrough here. We already have the
We've
item.
already gotten all 3 items. Well,
Yep.
yeah, all we have left is the boss key.
Yep.
And 20,000 fairies.
Yeah. We do still have to capture or free a few of those guys. Oh, that was such an unnecessary addition, I feel.
I mean, just 15 is just, it's too many.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, 5, 10, yeah, okay, I can understand that, but to look for 15 fairies,
it's ridiculous.
and if you get all but one, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You waste your time.
Yeah, there's no, it's not like the Skulltulas or something like that where like if you get half of them,
Yeah.
you can still, if you get 10, the first 10 you get, the
Yeah.
first 20 you get. No, you gotta get all 15.
Now, when I played this game the first time, that was something I didn't do. I think I tried in the first dungeon, and I was
Yeah.
like, forget this, but
Yeah.
like, that could add a lot of time to a dungeon.
Oh, no doubt.
Looking through all those things.
Oh, yeah, if you miss 1 or 2,
Yeah.
I know you made that mistake once.
Yeah.
And how
I
much
like to get
backtracking
in
you
at
had
the
to do.
dungeons, I like to get out of the dungeons.
You enter, kill some monsters, and
Yeah,
get back out.
yeah, get out of there.
We have got a lot of the fairies already, though.
Yeah,
They do kind of put, obviously,
Yeah,
it's
quickly,
spaced
you
out, but it's not like that.
Nope. But this right here will wrap up part 1 of our walkthrough.